are you? Hey guys and gals, I'm Paul Bray, Family Friendly Gaming, and I'm going to do an FFG Sports on Super Bowl LIX, also known as Super Bowl 59. Alright, so this was between the Philadelphia Eagles and the Kansas City Chiefs. Kansas City Chiefs were going for a three-peat. They were trying to get a third straight win in the Super Bowl. And early on in the Super Bowl, I was concerned. There was a bad ref call, and it was like, oh no, here we go again. Because if you've paid attention in the last few years, the Chiefs have been in the Super Bowl. There's been like one, maybe two bad calls that impacted the game, and the Chiefs won. And you just go, it's kind of suspicious. Why exactly is that happening? Don't know. So early on, I was like, oh no, here we go again. Here we go again. But thankfully, the Eagles just absolutely stomped the Chiefs. The final score was 40-22. You might go, well, that isn't too bad. That's only like 3 scores. The thing is, in the last, I don't know, 5-6 minutes, the Chiefs got like 2 touchdowns and 2 2-point conversions. So I think at one point it was like 40-6. So it was pretty bad on the Chiefs side. Patrick and Mahomes threw multiple interceptions. One of them went back for a touchdown, and the other one was also deep in Kansas City territory. So Philadelphia was able to easily push it in and score another touchdown there. I think it was. Did they get a field goal? I can't remember. I think they got 14 points from turnovers. A lot of people are like, "Man, that was a bad game." I actually don't mind the stomping from time to time. Being a Seahawks fan, I love the 43-8 Seahawks Super Bowl against the Denver Broncos. It is nice to see a dominant victory. The thing I didn't realize until, I don't know, maybe the second quarter is when they started talking about where the Eagles ranked defensively. And I didn't realize that they were like number one in a lot of these things. And as you all know, defense wins championships. And when you have the number one defense going up against a team, that is when you have a formula for a absolute just stomping, based on the number one defense. And if even the Seahawks, Denver Broncos, that was number one defense against number one offense, and the number one defense absolutely crushed them. So you see that halftime show was horrible. I did not like the artist they had there. I couldn't even understand much of what he was saying most of the time. What I did catch was like incendiary. They were just trying to be very offensive, racist, and I was like, man, do we really need this? Like, this is just bad. And so some people are like, well, you must not like rap. No, I like rap. KJ52, NF, DC Talk. You go back into, say, Cool Mo D, LL Cool J, Slick Rick. Like, there are rappers that I liked, going back to the 80s up to some today. So it isn't that I don't like rap. I just like to understand what they're saying. I want to understand the words. And so I had trouble hearing his words because a lot of times the music was so much louder. It was just like music's really loud, and he's almost like kind of mumbling and whispering. And then Samuel L. Jackson would come by and say something horrible, and I was like, really? You just have to be this way? Why? Why do you have to be so hateful? I don't get it. So to me, it was a horrible halftime show. Commercials were okay. There's some funny ones here or there. We're going to do reacts to those commercials. So there we go. I'm trying to think here. Anything else related to the Super Bowl? I know people are talking about, the GOAT and greatest of all time, and Patrick Mahomes really hurt himself in that game. Everyone's human. Everyone makes mistakes. So I'm kind of like, well, he's done a lot of good things throughout the time. They're comparing him to Brady, comparing him to Montana, and personally, I don't really care about the whole GOAT conversation. Personally, I just whatever. But I didn't mind the game, and I know, like I said, some people were unhappy because it wasn't a close game. But again, you have a close game and you have one call, then it's like if it goes one way, it becomes questionable. So that's all my thoughts on that topic. I'd like to thank everyone for watching. Hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye.